Really? Do I have to say anything at this point? Today on Cinema in Review, we'll be doing a review of my favorite Pixar movie. WALL-E. I love the movie WALL-E. Let's get straight into the story because, as I said in the last video, there really aren't many advancements in the later Pixar movies. The story of WALL-E is essentially about a robot who lives in a post-apocalyptic Earth. Essentially, the Earth at this time is Al Gore's greatest nightmare. It's a heavily commercialized, heavily polluted planet, and all the robots like WALL-E were tasked with cleaning it up. However, we are told then that a problem with the robots left WALL-E being the only one. So, for several hundred years, he's all by himself. Until an exploration robot named Eve comes to the Earth to see if it's habitable for human life. From then on, it becomes a love story as WALL-E follows Eve back into space and back to the remnants of the human civilization to bring them back to Earth. It's a really great plot, it's a great narrative, it's actually kind of dark. The characters in this story are also very important. Because it's a love story, the characters play a much more important and crucial role. The main character of WALL-E is lovable and innocent. He's a great deal of fun, very comedic. His comedy is based very much on the silent movie comedians like Charlie Chaplin or the Keystone Cops. It's handled very well, and he's a very innocent, very lovable character. We're drawn into his dilemma very quickly. The character of Eve is really kind of played more as the straight man to WALL-E's antics. In the beginning, she's shown as not being very sociable. She's very much to the mission, and it's not really until the beginning of the third act that she really starts to grow more as a character. We also have the character of Mo, who really plays no role in the story until the third act, and he's mainly used as a comic foil for WALL-E's antics on the Axiom. The villain Otto is actually kind of a really dark character. He borrows heavily from HAL 9000 from 2001: A Space Odyssey and various other robotic villains. The humans in this movie. Now that's where this movie gets a little odd. The humans in the past are played by live action actors, while the humans in the movie's present are played by CGI. The concept is kind of goofy and exaggerated, although there are 3 humans that are central to the main storyline. The primary one being the captain. Interesting fact. Did you know that Sigourney Weaver, the woman who plays Ripley in the Aliens franchise, voices the computer for the Axiom? I kinda thought that was a nice little touch. There are a whole heck of a lot of sci-fi references sprinkled throughout WALL-E. They're minor little touches, minor little nods, that unless you're a big fan of science fiction, like me, you might miss them. My favorite parts of this movie are the first act and the third act. I like the first act because it is almost entirely silent. It is almost entirely without dialogue, except for a few dialogue points between Eve and WALL-E that can't be explained through pantomime. But for the most part, it's very silent, and I really do like that. And I know that everyone who knows me outside of the video camera is laughing right now, but I actually really like silence in my movies. I know anyone who knows me in the real world knows that I'm kind of loud and obnoxious, so you'd think I would be the last person to enjoy silence in a movie. But actually, I enjoy the medium of film when it is used primarily or almost exclusively in a visual form. So, periods of great silence I always love, because it allows the characters to be far more expressive than they would be for cheesy dialogue. And that's why I think the romance in the story works so well. We don't hear them how much they care for each other. It's shown on the screen. The animation had to be perfect to get across the emotions of love and friendship. And it's done very well. Also, I love the music in this movie. Louis Armstrong is one of my favorite singers of all time, and I'm really happy that he is getting a whole lot of attention with this movie. Sorry, I just went into a little Louis Armstrong impression. Sorry. I'll get back to the review. Is there anything in this movie I don't like? Well, the second act can get kind of goofy, and essentially, as soon as Wally steps on the axiom, it becomes very cliche quickly. Also, the environmental message is kind of, heavy-handed, like, to an insane degree. Overall, I can generally overlook them because they are genuine concerns. I don't actually believe that man can affect the planet that much, but what are you gonna do? Personal opinion and all.
And the greatest arrogance of all, save the planet. What? Are these fucking people kidding me? Save the planet? We don't even know how to take care of ourselves yet. We haven't learned how to care for one another. We're gonna save the fucking planet? I'm getting tired of that shit. Tired. Besides, there is nothing wrong with the planet. Nothing wrong with the planet. The planet is fine. The people are fucked. Difference. The planet is fine. Compared to the people, the planet is doing great. It's been here 4.5 billion years. Did you ever think about the arithmetic? Planet has been here 4.5 billion years. We've been here, what, 100,000? Maybe 200,000? And we've only been engaged in heavy industry for a little over 200 years. 200 years versus 4.5 billion. And we have the conceit to think that somehow we're a threat? The planet has been through a lot worse than us. Been through all kinds of things worse than us. Been through earthquakes, volcanoes, plate tectonics, continental drift, solar flares, sunspots, magnetic storms, the magnetic reversal of the poles, hundreds of thousands of years of bombardment by comets and asteroids and meteors, worldwide floods, tidal waves, worldwide fires, erosion, cosmic rays, recurring ice ages, and we think some plastic bags?
And I'm not going to let that affect the movie's rating, because it is, at the end of the day, my favorite Pixar movie, with Up being a close second and Ratatouille being the third. Overall, I have to give this movie a must-own, my highest rating. I really enjoy this movie, and I think you should go see it whenever you can. The messages might be a little bit heavy-handed, and the second act might get a little slow and a little cliché. But it really does pick up in the third act, and the first act is probably the most unique moment in any animated film I've ever watched. So Pixar Month is almost finished. This Wednesday I'll be doing a review of Up. Please remember to like and subscribe to this video, and I'll see you guys next time on Cinema in Review.
Thank you.